The All Black podcast is powered by our official cloud software partner, SAP, helping our teams in black become the best run teams in sport. To listen to this episode and all the All Black podcasts, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcasts. This is the All Blacks podcast.
Kia ora whānau, welcome to episode 7 of the All Black podcast powered by SAP. World Cup Sevens start tomorrow for All Black Sevens, Blackford Sevens sides in Cape Town, South Africa. So what better man to get on the pod, talk Sevens, Sevens veteran Karl Te Nana. KT, how good is your gig these days? Because I'm pretty sure I saw you at the All Blacks test in the weekend in the Tron. Now I speak to you via Zoom. You're in South Africa. COVID's in the rearview mirror. KT's racking up the air miles again. Is this true, brother?
Oh yeah, hey, we're in economy class, so the air miles aren't that much, I'll be honest. But the back's wrecked. But no, I mean honestly, it's really cool to be able to be able to be sideline and do the All Blacks, see an awesome win, especially in those conditions, and then come over here and be in South Africa and be amongst the World Cup, you know. So it's a mean vibe over here in Cape Town at the moment, and we think we're nuts at supporting our teams. With the South Africans, man, they love it. They're absolutely crazy for rugby. So it's going to be an awesome weekend. Looking forward to it.
Man, it was a good game of footy in the weekend, wasn't it? The boys performed well. You've probably been able to have a bit of a chat to some of the South African fans over there about that. But that's why I want to ask you. You're in Cape Town now. The Blitz Box, they won the Com Games. They were awesome in the final. So is there a bit of atmosphere there? They're pretty excited to try and go and take the World Cup Sevens title, you know, off the All Black Sevens side? Yeah.
And then here at Cape Town, you know, they really do it proper. They really do. Even like in the normal series, they really pick out the stadium. And this weekend's already been sold out for a very long time, you know. So it's the hype that they put into it's actually quite massive. And like I said, the South Africans, they just love code, whether it be 7s or 15s. And they love the All Blacks down here too. And they keep massive support systems down there. And I think actually the South African Rugby Union didn't play an All Blacks test there for a long time because of the massive support that the All Blacks get here. So we get massive support here, and you know, so it really feels comfortable in at home. So I think the home team obviously is going to get massive support, but the All Blacks also are probably the second, I'll be honest.
It's an amazing thing as South African rugby player, isn't it? It doesn't matter seem to be how big they breed them, they still seem to be able to run really, really fast. I don't know what's in the meat or the briar or what's going on over there, but I need a bit of that, or I needed it 20 years ago anyway.
I'll tell you, we went to a braai last night, and they're like, you shake dudes' hands over here and they just envelop you. Like, oh, yeah, awesome. But yeah, they're massive people, man. They're just big units. So like I said, they live and breathe code, so they just love it. They're really welcoming people, so it's awesome.
Mate, it's awesome. Look, a little bit of a warm-up, mate. You're getting on now like me, so we don't want to get into things, you know, too quickly. Firstly, I want to throw at you, is Eric Rush the commentator of New Zealand Sevens, and also is he the best after-dinner speaker in New Zealand? Because I heard him on Friday and he absolutely bought the house down at a function I was at.
Yeah, they're all lies too, by the way, all those stories. He's made so much money taking the piss out of people, and they're all lies. So he's the man. Rush is the man. Like him and Titch really laid the platform for what's gone ahead. You know, the whole ethos around the Sevens and the mentality, and those two guys together were so successful. It was an honour to be a part of. And Rushy for me is probably the best captain I've ever been associated with. He was a guy that was able to make a lot of players probably play above the level than they thought they could reach, you know. So it was that type of guy. He didn't rah too much, but he knew what to say to different people, and I think that was a real secret of his captaincy. And when he did speak, you really took notice of it. And, you know, he was a guy, along with Waisale Sereva, that really put Sevens on a global stage. And it's really awesome that his son gets to be a part of the Sevens now. For the last couple of seasons, and gets to come to a World Cup. So I'm really stoked for Rushy and his family, and the things I learned off him I used as well in terms of my captaincy and as a player, and that hard work ethic and whatnot. So like I say, he really laid the platform in terms of on the field, but also off the field. That was one thing I really took from him as well. Like we used to do functions, we went to places such as Hong Kong as an example, and he would have the ability to take the mickey out of players, but also create an environment that they could be themselves and be comfortable and talk at these after dinner speeches and whatnot. So yeah, he's the man in terms of that.
Mate, absolutely. And you talked a little bit about him there, but everyone's got a Titch story. Have you got a best Gordon Titchen story?
Oh man, there's so many. Yeah, probably the one that sticks out, and Titch actually talks about this. My first experience in the New Zealand camp. So I was at a Prince of Wales Cup, which is a Māori All Black trial. So we did that on the shore, and I got called in the day after to go to Sevens camp. But when I was with the Māoris trials, we proceeded to go out. We got named to the Māoris, so we went out and had a good time and finished about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We had the front up at 8 o'clock the next day. So all the boys such as Dallas Seymour and Rushy and that said, "Hey mate, you better just calm it down a little bit. We've got training tomorrow, fitness testing." When you're young, can front up, no worries. So we did all these fitness testing. Got through it. That's not so bad. What are you talking about? And then we proceeded to go out to training for 3 hours after that, and that's when it really got me. And obviously, being a new guy, Titch pushes you quite a bit. And so he had a game, his first introduction, he called it Death. So we played this game of Death, and it was just full field touch, pretty much. And being a young guy, you had to push. So we had the half time, and we had a talk. And honestly, I could feel everything starting to come up. So I was like, "Oh mate, stop this!" I bolted. Vomited, looked up, and there's Christian Cullen just sitting in the car. He just made the All Blacks, just shaking his head, going, mate, no good, mate. So, yeah, Titchens was the first one to make me do that in my training. But to be honest, as soon as I got part of that environment, loved it and loved the hurt. So you got to be a bit nuts to play sevens, but if you can do it, why not?
Oh, absolutely, mate. If you didn't end up being a pro rugby player, what would you have been? What would have KT have been?
Superhero.
Which one? Which one?
Catwoman. No. That's my dress up. Honestly, I think I would have loved to be a builder, but I work's too hard, so I'd love to build my own house. But no, I just think for me, broadcasting is something that I really fell into and loved, and tried to coach and stuff, and still do a little bit now, but that wasn't for me. So I think just broadcasting's always been in the blood, and for me, it's just a good way of giving back to the game that I love. So it's I think it's just been a natural fit, and lucky enough to, like you say, go be at the sideline of an All Blacks test and then come over here and cover this stuff. So when you get that sort of buzz of doing these sort of things that we get to do and talk to the people we get to talk to, it's just really cool. So I think it's just broadcaster all day.
Oh, mate, it must be awesome for you. You do a great job, and also it's probably a great way to connect with all these different people, that whether it be through sevens, your Super Rugby career, there's all these great friendships that you're probably able to spark up again and catch up with people with Africa, LA, all these different parts of the world you go to. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we just talked about that at breakfast, actually. I'm just sitting with the guy, Gareth Rees, who's in the Hall of Fame, played for Canada and played about 5 World Cups and whatnot. And he said last time he was here was 95 World Cup, and he's catching up with a few mates. So it's that sort of thing, where you go around and you're right, you make these connections with people, whether you played against them or just meet people doing the things that we get to do. So it's a lot of people open up their homes to you, and it's just really cool to be able to just talk to people and sit and reminisce or just talk about things. It doesn't have to necessarily be rugby. That's the vehicle that's got us here. But I think that's the like you say, the cool connections that you meet. A lot of good people around the world, and if they come to New Zealand, you do exactly the same, and open up your house and heart to them. So it's really cool opportunities.
Mate, awesome community. 3 guests come to your place for dinner. Who would they be, mate? Any 3? And what's KT cooking?
Yeah, no, I'm getting Chef Ramsay. I love Chef Ramsay, so he's cooking for sure. I love his blow-up, say Hell's Kitchen, he's crack up. Chef Ramsay's one. I think Dave Chappelle, I love my comedy, so
Yes.
I watch a lot of Dave Chappelle. He's the man, like his the way he looks at things and talks. He's a crack up. And the third one, I suppose, Michael Jordan. I've always been inspired by him, but after seeing The Last Dance, and you got to hear some of those stories, so it'd be quite cool to hear some of those things that went on, and obviously why he was the man.
Yeah, you'd love to dig into a bit of that stuff a little bit more, wouldn't you? And what are you cooking, mate? When you got that's a pretty eclectic group of people. You could make Ramsay cook, I suppose, or what would you chuck on there?
I dabble quite a bit. I cook quite a lot when I'm at home. So, geez, especially with Chef Ramsay, it's a bit of pressure. You have to do something quite New Zealand, right? I think for those sort of people. So it's got to be white baked fritters or something, and a bit of power, crayfish.
Yeah.
They will barbecue. That's always easy. Can't wreck that too bad.
Great shout. Now, mate, you're there for the World Cup Sevens. Yeah, we're very fortunate. The All Black Sevens, the Blackfin Sevens, defending champions. But what's your memories, mate? You were lucky enough to be on the World Sevens circuit for a long time. You went to World Cup Sevens tournaments. Like, even I know for myself as a teenager, like staying up late watching Hong Kong Sevens and Waisali Sarebi and Dallas Seymour and Eric Rush and all those sort of guys was my first memories. Then it was you and your crew came through with, Cully and all these guys. Like, what's your fondest memories, mate? Whether it be, wins, losses, and everything in between.
Yeah, well, my first tournament in a black jersey, proper, was Hong Kong. Actually, the World Cup there, I think in '97. And I was the same, like you. Like they only broadcast Hong Kong and 2:00 in the morning. You get out there and watch that, and seeing the likes of Waisale Sarevi, and Hong Kong's sort of like a Wimbledon, right? It's got that history and uniqueness. So as soon as you walk out onto that stadium, man, it's like it really hits you. And for me, that's always going to be my favourite tournament. So many fond memories. Lucky enough to win there 3 or 4 times, and for it to be my first tournament in a black jersey at a World Cup. I've always, for me, had a special place in my heart. So just running out for the first time and hearing 40,000 people is the biggest amount of people I've ever played in front of early on in my career, and just having the whole experience of Hong Kong. And like I say, we'll go train, but then we'll go do these speeches and functions, and go to the New Zealand consulate and mix and mingle and meet people we don't normally mix with. And it was just really, really cool. And as a young teenager, experiencing that and on a next level, it was just really, really awesome to see. And just watching the older players such as Seymour and Rushy, and how they mixed with people, how they spoke to people, how they got us young guys involved and got us out of our little corner and forced us to talk to a lot of different levels of people, whether it be a consulate or just a normal fan. It was really, really awesome. Massive learning curves, and then you had to actually play some footy at the end of the day.
Well, that's it, mate. And like it's I've been fortunate enough to go along to a couple of Hong Kong Sevens, and it almost really is the spiritual home of Sevens, isn't it? Because that tournament's it's got the most nostalgia around it, and for people who haven't been, and it's changing a little bit, but it is an expatriate melting pot, isn't it? Like whatever team is playing there, didn't matter whether it was New Zealand. Obviously, New Zealand playing Fiji was a big occasion, of course, but there's heaps of Aussies there are heaps of Poms there's heaps of French people there. Didn't matter what team were playing, they had a support, and it's humidity's high, the temperature's high, but there's just an atmosphere that place creates, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially the way the stadium's set up. It's right on top of you, so it's really embellished, and like you say, everyone gets a massive support system. They love an underdog, as you'd expect, but like Fiji and New Zealand's where medal legends are made, so to be able to be on that stage and add a little story to it was really cool. And I know from experience that you were in the South Stand, weren't you? You got out in one piece?
I didn't get out in one piece, to be honest, mate. I got out, but not in one piece. But there's just it's one of those things you got to go to experience it, and even just Hong Kong, and it comes alive at night, doesn't it? And it was just a wonderful rugby experience, and like a real cross section of people. There's, like you say, there's corporate people, there's people travelled in who are English teachers from different parts of Asia. There was Kiwis going over on a holiday. It's an unbelievable experience, and I think one Sevens experience that needs to be done if it's only one that you do. Yeah,
and the thing is too, right? You get there, we always get there early as broadcasters, but you get there at like 8, 9 o'clock, and the South Stand is full,
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning. It's just, it was original party, right? Like,
yeah.
You had the ads in between the game. They had all these cool ads and music, and everyone to get up and dance. And that's where I really laid, I think, the platform for what the Seven Series is now.
And it's like, you probably look back now and think, geez, you ran out with Jonah, ran out with Cully, ran out Waisale Sarebi, like some of the great names of the sport. You must look back now and think, that was awesome, to grace the field with those guys, particularly too, it wasn't 15s, it was 7s, so those guys could really express themselves and show their skills even more so than perhaps what they could on the 15s field.
Yeah, and the cool thing back then, because I grew up playing all age grade with Cully and Jonah and stuff, and me and Cully are like really good mates. And he even says, like, if the money was the same as he got as an All Black, he would have played sevens all day long. You know, that's where he really come to the world stage, both of them, hey, to be fair, and their exploits at Hong Kong. And it's just really, really awesome to hear a guy who's got so much standing and was so awesome at the All Black level say that he really loved the environment of the sevens and the freedom that he got. And the cool thing is we always projected that, like, guys might go away from the team, but they're always welcome back. And that's why those guys, if they could, would always come back to a Hong Kong or a Wellington sevens, or if they're over in Europe, they play for the Barbars. I remember one time we were up there and Jonah played for the Barbarians at Twickenham on the Saturday, and they come over and play for us and on the Sunday at the sevens. You know, it was that type of family feel, and those guys were just treated normally. They weren't treated as superstars, and I think that's what they really, really liked, just being one of the boys and be able to chill out and just be themselves.
Mate, awesome. Mate, random story that's popped up this week, sort of as we prepare for the World Cup Sevens, and you were a part of it back in 2001. Benjamin Bono, who became a part of the All Black Sevens squad in that 2000 World Cup side. Like, how did that come about, mate? I'll let you tell the story, because I had a look over it today on allblacks.com and I was like, how does this happen? Or like, how was this ever the process? You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what a cool story for him, though. Like, he's a World Cup winner, Benjamin.
Mate, he could match Rushy in Uruguay probably for the after dinner speaking with that yarn anyway. But I'll let you talk about how it came about.
Yeah. No, we had a couple of injuries. We lost Rushy on day 2, so already man down, and didn't have the extended squads like they do now. So we only had, I think we had 12 travelling, so you could pick 10. And Rushy went down, so we got Rodney Soella come in, and then we had a couple more injuries on the day 3. So what used to happen, they used to have a pool of players at each tournament that you could choose from. And one of the guys used to host us, his dad was the president, actually, of Uruguay. So he was a mad rugby man. So Titch went to him and said, look, who out of all these players is halfway decent? So this guy, Pedro, he picked Benjamin Bono to come in. So Benjamin come in for the final. He's in the changing room. He looked like a 2-year-old kid. He was like absolutely packing himself, the poor dude. But you know, when you got Jonah there warming up, and
absolutely,
what had happened? Like we have our jerseys up around our changing room, and we're sharing it with the Russians because they played before us in a minor game. So we left the change rooms, went to warm up, came back, and someone had pinched Jonah's jersey. So Jonah was angry. He was like punching him. Oh, who's taking my jersey, Roscoe? So he was mad as heck. And then you got poor old Benjamin sitting next to him going, what's going on? He was, you know, the big Jonah's punching the concrete wall, and Benjamin's just sitting there, didn't want to say boo diddly squat. I mean, probably hardly speak English anyway, but I mean, like, to go into that sort of intimidating situation in the World Cup final with the big fella throwing hands, it was you know, like you say, he's probably got some stories for life. But just reading, I was just reading his story on allblacks.com and how he's doing now, and it's really cool that he's given his World Cup kit to his club and stuff. And man, like I say, what a massive story to tell the boys down at the RSA.
Oh, mate, that is. He's told that one many a times with probably multiple versions, I would say. I want to
hasn't paid for a beer since.
Has not paid for a beer at a rugby club since. I want to talk a little bit about Titch. Like, he's such an iconic person within sevens, but like when you have a bit of a look at your time and the players you played with and the series as it was developing, one thing that just becomes clearly obvious is that Titch was ahead of his time. Like, when you hear some of the stories around you boys talking about, you know, how he pushed the diet size onto you, but it wasn't, you didn't have a dietitian with you, you didn't have a specialist, it was him. You know, how, you know, the fitness that has become so famous, but he didn't have a strength and conditioning person or a trainer, it was Titch, you know, like, and even that sort of stuff, while he was awesome at identifying talent like Cully and that, bringing them in, creating a platform, and then, you know, was happy to send them on their way to the big stage for the All Blacks, and which was one of the great things that Titch did for the game. Geez, they must have all arrived in those environments ready to go, because he was tough and he was ahead of his time, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think the thing a lot of those players got from Titch I spoke about it before with Rushy pushing guys to probably limits that they didn't realise they had, and that was the mental side of it. And Titch, along with Rushy, really created that environment where our trainings are always going to be harder than the games. And you're right, like, you didn't have the stats, you didn't have the information that you do now around the fitness level. So I think Titch realised early on that we're not going to be as fast and as mobile as the Fijians and Samoans and the Tongans, but what we can be is the fittest team, for one, and secondly, the mentally toughest. I think that's what really projected us to be so successful, that work ethic. And sure, we'll maybe have to break down teams a lot of the times. I suppose that's where those 10-minute halves and the finals really played into our hands, where Fiji might be out the gate and get up to a lead, but we know we're going to still be humming when it comes to the 20th minute. And we'll try and a lot of times take out teams, take away their strength, whether it be big guys putting them on the deck to make them tie, because those extreme fitness levels that Titch put us through. And the thing that really stands out for me with Titch was, like, he would physically hammer you, but there was the mind games, like, this is the last one, this is the last one, this is the last one, and went for the last one for another half an hour, So it was like being able to, thinking back, just have that mental ability to get up and just go again, get up and just go again, get up and just go again. And I think that's why he was so successful. And like you say, a real trailblazer, and he laid the platform of what has sort of turned out to be now in terms of the training for a lot of sides. A lot of teams mimicked us, but they couldn't really, because of Titch, couldn't really get that. I don't know how would you put it, not quality, but just that
just that extra edge, yeah.
Yeah, the extra edge that you needed at training to really break you. So you break you down and rebuild you pretty much.
And also, too, it made his players end up being pretty cunning, didn't it? I think I've heard you tell a story where, if you wanted to get just treat yourself every now and again when Titch wasn't looking with a bit of fast food, you had to wait till he went through customs. Is this true?
Yeah, it is true. And I don't know, we're still trying to figure out. So we waited for him to go through customs, right? So you got to do your passport. He goes to security. How the hell he got back out, I don't know. That's the thing. So we waited for him to go through. We had Craig the Goldie as our lookout. And then just 1 minute, Goldie was there. Next minute, he just bolted. I've never seen so many people who don't like getting their wallets out, like leave all this McDonald's there at the table and just like scatter. It was unreal.
That's the power of Titch. The man can even get back through customs to check on the boys having Maccas.
Not even the Prime Minister can do that, but he does.
Mate, I don't know if you were still in the team or not, but I needed you to, talk to a tale I've heard a few times. I've even heard the man tell it himself, like Te Nana Latimer, great sevens player. And the rumour was that, of all the players out there, one that he couldn't break, one that Titch couldn't break was Lats. Is this true? Like, is this a true story? It seems near impossible there couldn't be someone Titch couldn't break.
Yeah, no, Lats is talking bullpucky, I reckon. He snapped for sure. He snapped for sure. No, but that was our whole ethos, like, don't let him break you when you're absolutely smashed. And Titch got a buzz out of it, snapping people, like I said before, like he snapped me on day one with my training. But once again, it's that mental toughness and probably a reason why so many guys have gone through the sevens program and got their All Blacks jersey, I think it would have been close to 50 guys that have gone through that sevens program, and now we're seeing the likes of Akita and Rico Ioane and all those dudes, even to this day. Like, I think the learnings that you get, like being on tour, say here in South Africa, being playing in front of 40,000 South Africans at a place like Cape Town, is quite intimidating. But you learn the ethos of training ethic, what we were saying before, like the nutritional side of it. So there's so many positives from the sevens program and ability to be able to translate that and go to the 15s and get your full jersey test cap as me.
Mate, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the tournament. Firstly, we've had the Com Games. It's actually been a big year for significant events on the Sevens Tour, and awesome that it's basically back up and running, after heaps of disruption with COVID. Like the boys are back on the plane and as are the girls. What do you see at the Coms Games for both the Black Ferns and the All Black Sevens teams? Like, are we in good nick as we've gone through LA and now into the World Cup?
Yeah, I think the thing that really stood out for mine with both teams, awesome to get a bronze, but both teams were disappointed with that.
Yeah.
And they both had opportunities to probably progress further in the tournament. So I think, we always mentioned if we lost the game, we'd be in the change room just saying, just remember this feeling. I think that's the thing I got out of the Com Games. Both of those squads were bitterly disappointed, even talking to them afterwards. They were still pretty broken about it. So that's been in the back of their minds. And, we saw both squads in particular, like because we're in lockdown, New Zealand, a lot of the other teams played 4 or 5 tournaments before we got back into the series proper. So we're playing a lot of catch up still. But I think now, just the way after the boys performed, in particular at Los Angeles, that they've found their groove back again, and I think they probably peaked at the right time. And I know, just being around the women as well, that they're a pretty determined bunch. And talk about big gear, they've got a lot of them are going to be playing this weekend and go straight back into the Black Ferns and play at home pretty soon, which is exciting for them. But I think they've been really fixed on the Commonwealth Games peaking, and then not having long and having a peak again for a World Cup. So that's that mental toughness that we speak about. But I think our squad's in a pretty good shape at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if hopefully they can translate that onto the park.
Mate, let's talk a little bit about the format. It's a little bit different to what we normally tune into for a sevens. Is it a knockout format? Is it 24 teams in the men's, 16 in the girls' side of it? Like, it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was just at lunch with some of the World Rugby people. You said I think that's what keeps it fresh. It's not.
Yeah. It's
very different from a World Seven series, so it's not same. And like you say, when you're playing a one-off game, you have to win your first game, otherwise you're gone. So I think it just once again has that edge and has that difference. And I think the players will really respond to that because they know, and that's why you're probably the reason you love and hate the game of sevens. If you're not on, if you're 1% off and your opposition's on, it's such a short time that sometimes you can't recover. And if the call doesn't go your way or whatever, it's very hard to get back. So it's such a leveler, and I think that's the exciting part of sevens. And I think that's why this weekend it's sold out every single day because of that exact reason. There's teams that aren't normally on the circuit get an opportunity to run against one of the big teams, and imagine if they upset one of the big sides. That'll be their claim to fame, like a Benjamin Bono. So it's really opportunities. And I think in terms of sevens, that's like a lot of these countries aren't going to be able to compete with the All Blacks and the Wallabies and that sort of stuff. But in sevens you can. So it's really exciting for them to get a chance to measure themselves and have a go.
Absolutely, and like massive milestone for one of our most experienced Black Fern players. Sarah Hirini plays her 50th tournament, absolute trailblazer, first Black Ferns player to do that. Like how good, really? How cool's that? Because she was right there from day dot. Wasn't almost new to the game of sevens, and here we are today. She's an absolute veteran. She's playing her 50th tournament, and to your point as well, she's played 15. She's been to 15s World Cups as well. An awesome trailblazer for all sorts of girls out there who want to put on the jersey and some boots. Yeah,
I remember watching her play for Fielding High School way back when. Not that she's old or anything, but I've seen her progress through her whole career, and she's a top lady, right? She's a top woman, and I think the way she's approached the game, the way she plays the game, the way she carries herself is a reason why she's been so successful. She's one of the hardest workers, and even like at the Com Games, like she's still obviously playing at a very high level and still able to get it done. So you can't help but follow a play like that, when you go out. And I just really love her leadership, and anywhere I see her, she always comes up and says hello, and we have a chat and whatnot. And I think that's something that really stands out for me. She's so grounded and such a great person. So it's not surprising that she's able to reach these milestones and probably can go for a very long time after this. So hopefully, I know for sure she's going to leave it all out there for the jersey as she always does, and lead by example. So I'm sure again she'll be a very successful captain and one of our best, not just ladies, but players in the landscape of New Zealand rugby and world rugby. And I remember when she won the Māori Player of the Year, and then I reckon she's probably missed out. She probably deserves to have a World Sevens Player of the Year. It's gone to a couple of other players, but for me, she's always been the glue that's really been why this women's Black Ferns team has been so successful.
Feels like there's a few parallels to Rushy a little bit to Sarah. She's she seems to have a great balance, but brings the best out of the players around her. Absolutely leads from the front. Like, she just plays 8 or 9 out of 10 every single game. Just does a whole lot of hard mahi in the games and and is sort of the glue that keeps the team on and off the field together. That's what it looks like from where I'm looking anyway.
Yeah, 100% agree. And she's got the chat too. She's got a bit of chat like Rushy. She's very understated, but she can talk some jibber jabber with the best of them, I can promise you. So she's really cool lady, and I just think you're right. There's a lot of parallels with her and Rushy, and setting up their program and being successful with Alan Bunting and now Swings and what's going forth. So hopefully she's still able to stick around for a lot longer after this.
At the other end, at the age scale, Georgia Miller comes in playing her first tournament at 19, and the cool thing about that is that, again, just represents the growth in the girls' game. We've got so many good players coming through, so much talent. It's a real growth area. And here's another example of a young person taking their opportunity, and she might get to go out this weekend. And like you say, it's not just your average Sevens tournament. It's a sellout every single day and pretty much one of the cauldrons of the Sevens game. How cool for a young person.
Oh, yeah, eye-opening. Even like for her to be here and I suppose being around these teams and being on tour. And what a massive opportunity for her to lose Tyler, Nathan Wong, probably one of those experienced players as well, with Gossi and our kickoff starter, restarter. So Georgia, yeah, she's been on the radar for a little while, and she's obviously super talented. But now she gets an opportunity to show her wares, and I know Corey Sweeney's pretty stoked that she's going to be in here and add something different. A lot of teams wouldn't have seen much of Georgia, so that's I think something that maybe we need, something different. Like there's always a game that you struggle with when you come to these big tournaments, and I think someone like Georgia might be the one that will be able to show her wares in a situation like that, or get her chance. She's definitely get some game time, that's for sure. So, I can't wait for her to step out on that pitch and like you say, to be able to run out in front of a stadium such as Cape Town, and have that sort of that pressure that you love to be in South Africa. I mean, what a moment for her. It'd be cool for her and her whānau.
Absolutely, and you hit on a good point there. I've heard Clark Laidlaw talk a little bit about it. Like the great thing about bringing in young players, X-Factor players, is that they're really hard to scout for the opposition because they haven't been around, people haven't seen them, and they can come in and offer something different. I want to talk a little bit about the All Black Sevens. A few old dogs coming back in. Sammy Dixon, Scott Curry, Dylan Collier. Like you say, Brady Rush gets the call up as well. But like maybe sometimes we think Sevens is a young man's game, but we're bringing back some real experience. But that's going to benefit us, isn't it? Because, God, the one thing that you really notice when you follow Sevens, watch Sevens, talk to guys about Sevens, God, those little moments are huge. A kick-off here, a yellow card there, a drop ball here, one bad decision. It's not like in a game of 15s when you got 80 minutes to try and make it up. It is massive. So the more you can minimise that stuff, and perhaps some of those experienced guys are the guys who can really help with that side of it.
Yeah, and that's what Sammy Dixon is, one of the best restart recipients in the game, so he's huge for us. He can isolate him one-on-one with an opposition player and let him go up with his AFL background. Scott Curry's another guy who's very tall and supreme at the lineouts, at the restarts, got that experience that you spoke about, former skip. And then you got Dylan Collier, guy's been around for a long time, just having that I suppose awareness and solidarity with those three. In the forwards, you can play them in multiple positions, and they've won here before. More importantly, I think in South Africa, and they know how to win in this country, and to have that sort of experience in a massive tournament, like you say, when it's knockout, is huge. And just talking to Henry Paul, my good mate, yesterday we went out and had dinner, and he's lamenting the fact that he's got all these young guys, but he knows he needs experience, but he just at the moment doesn't have it in the squad. So to have guys in our squad that be able to come back and like I say, be successful in a place that's hard to win, and won World Cups, defending champs, guys have had that pressure before, and have been able to peak at these one-off tournaments, I think means a lot. So, we're really lucky to be able to fall on guys and pick guys with that much experience, especially after LA where we lost 8 guys after they won so well. So it's, it's really good to be able to do that. So, no, we're really fortunate.
Mate, couple of things. Firstly, before we get KT's picks, which are extremely knowledgeable, and no doubt you'll get them bang on right. We've talked about the New Zealand teams. We know Fiji are fantastic. We're used to seeing Aussie pop up and do well, Samoa, Tonga, etc. Is there anyone outside of that group to keep an eye on? Like, is there any surprise packages out there as some guys? Because, every now and again, Sevens pops up these teams who can have a day, can't they?
Yeah. Argentina's my sleeper team. And and then they've once again been successful here. They won a tournament about three years ago, I think, just before lockdown. And they're one of those nuggety teams that are hard to push away. And a good friend, Santiago Gomez-Cora, is coaching them, and they just got a good mix of young guys and experienced guys, a lot like New Zealand. And I think they're going to be the team that might sneak up on a lot of players. And they've been knocking over some of the big boys for a long time now. So I saw them beat New Zealand. What was it? And might have been Vancouver, just off the top of my head. And just seeing Santi go through that situation, and they know how to win and beat New Zealand, and beat these top sides. It's just, and we saw them with the All Blacks once they get that once they get an emotion involved with them, they really thrive with it. So that's something I'm sure they'll try and cap this weekend on.
Mate, here we go. I won't make you pick the winners in the women's and the men's, but I'll make you pick the finalists.
New Zealand.
In both. New Zealand are versing which two teams in the men's and the women's final? KT.
Yeah. For the women, I think they go against Fiji.
Yeah.
I think New Zealand Fiji final for there. On the side for the men, it's a toss up. The Aussies are playing good, eh? They're playing real good, but I just think at home the Blitzbokke are going to be the one. So it's going to be a traditional New Zealand South Africa final in the men's.
I love it, mate. Thank you so much. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to hearing your dulcet tones, coming through the broadcast. Go well, and I hope very much we see a couple of teams in blacks in the final and do well. And appreciate this, mate. Go enjoy yourself. I know you've got a lot to do. Maybe some golf, maybe another feed. I don't know what you've got planned this afternoon, mate. But I appreciate this, mate. Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. But, I've been waiting for the call up to get on here, but finally we made it happen. Thank you.
Mate, the floodgates are open now. You'll be getting a call every month, mate.
Awesome. I really appreciate it, Choice.
Cheers, brother. Talk soon.
Cheers, bro.
The All Blacks podcast is powered by our official cloud software partner, SAP, helping our teams in black be the best run in sports. Hosted by Rob Dunne in the Hargrave Street studio. Produced by Carl Thompson from Blue and Ginge, the podcast producers. Video editing by Mac Leesburg, graphics by Western Design, content advising from Andy Burt, and commercial manager for the podcast is Valeska Hoth. Follow the All Blacks podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts.